Today's tutorial is of the Samsung Galaxy S5 LCD and touchscreen replacement. This is to replace the full assembly. It's definitely the easiest, I think, in the Samsung Galaxy range to replace, and it only takes about 5 to 10 minutes. The list of tools that you do need are in the description below, with obviously an affiliate link to Amazon where you can buy and find local suppliers. Now, the first thing to do is take the back cover off, remove the battery, and check the model. Then with the Phillips head screwdriver, just take out the bottom screw and lift the plastic cap off. Once you've done that, you should see that there's a little green type clip, which is really easy. Use something non-conductive and lift that clip up. Then with adshesive tool or something similar like a blade, just be careful if you do use a blade, get under the screen by prying in between the silver and the white on the frame. Now, there's one thing about this: you don't have to be careful when doing this initially at the start. Now, towards the right side of the screen, at the top right, you'll see that eventually when you lift it up, there's a connecting plug, and that is where you'll put the new screen connector plug. So just take note of that. When you're on the top side of the screen, you don't have to be too careful. Still go slowly and slowly lift the screen off. Now, when you get towards the bottom part, you'll see that there's a little cable there, so be extremely careful when you take that cable, when you peel off that screen, not to rip that cable. It'll just be a new home button that you need to purchase, which is only a few dollars, but it still can be a bit of an inconvenience. As you can see, it's easily pulling off. Now, there'll be some cases where you do, previous repairers have repaired the phone, and there might be a bit of glue on the actual the casing and the frame. So just be patient and take off every bit of glue. Around the outside, as you can see, what I'm doing now is removing the home button. Keep that home button because you're going to need that for the new screen. I just usually like to peel off the glass around the outside. Can be a bit tedious, but it eventually comes off. This one is a bit trickier than most. Usually the way they break is that the home button's glassing, the glass around the home button is actually easy to come off, but it was just the way it broke. So just be a bit patient. Take the black double-sided tape off. As you can see, I'm just peeling that off. Now it's fairly hard when you do have gloves, but I do like to wear gloves so I don't get cut. Now, when you do go around the edge of the frame, make sure you dust everything off and you take off the black double-sided tape around the outside of the frame. This can take a bit of time, but I mean, by all means, make sure you do it thoroughly and make sure that there's no small pieces of glass, because if you push the new screen on when you install it, a piece of glass will push up through the LCD and damage it, which could be a very expensive mistake. There's usually some double-sided black tape around the button area there. That's not too important. I still like to take everything off when I do remove it. It's more so, as I said, make sure there's no debris like glass or dirt or anything under there that could cause little lumps or slight raises on the screen. At the bottom, you'll also notice that sometimes there is a bit more glue than usual. Sometimes for some strange reason, repairers like to put glue on the bottom if they have repaired it before. It can be a bit annoying, but usually the type of glue they use comes off fairly easy. Now, as you can see at the top there, I'm just cleaning the ear speaker. Make sure you clean that ear speaker and clean remove the mesh part. and then put the mesh part back on. This phone actually had been repaired before and there was no mesh there already. But just get all the dirt around that ear speaker, that glue from the frame, and eventually it'll start looking like a more respectable, well, casing for the actual new screen. Now, one thing to take note of that is very important is that sometimes a frame has dents. Please take note of that and remold any dent by, using a little screwdriver or anything. You can just push it out, as it is plastic. You don't need much force. Here the actual phone's going away from the actual camera as I'm just carefully looking at the screen. And this is a new screen. So what you'll see on the new screen is there's a plastic back on it. But the first thing to do is double check and make sure that the screen works and make sure that the phone boots up properly. So the best way to do that is, and there you go, I just found an ear speaker mesh, and that's how it goes in. It just sits on there. It'll move around and stuff. It doesn't stick, so just be careful and just try not to move the actual phone around too much. Now, the first thing I like to do, as I said, is test the screen. That is the most important part. I take the backing off. Now, some suppliers will give you backing that is already sticky, some won't, okay? So if they don't, they'll most likely send you double-sided tape with it, where you just put that obviously where the screen goes. You plug that clip in where I just did then. You push it down, get the sticky adhesive working. Now, obviously I tested this screen beforehand, so I did know it was working, but before you put any type of adhesive or anything like that on, make sure you do test the phone, okay? Because if you don't, then you will be in a bit of trouble there. Here we go, the battery's in, and there you have it. There's a working phone. Now all I need to do is just obviously push that adhesive down to activate it, and everything's done. Once again, thank you for watching. If you do like this video, please subscribe or even like the video below. Thank you. Bye.